Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and it's a gloomy, rainy, sad day in Virginia, but that's okay because I'm gonna do my November wrap up and my TBR for December. The year is basically over at this point, and I'm sad because 2022 just felt like it went by so quickly, but it's okay. I had a decent reading month in November, although I definitely did not read as much as I thought I was going to, considering I wanted to read a ton of nonfiction for Nonfiction November. I still managed to read some, and you know what happens. I'm a mood reader. It's okay. Don't feel like you have to stick with a TBR or whatever. Just do what feels natural to you. So let's do the wrap up first, because I ended up not reading that much, but it's okay. So right off the bat, I finished the rest of the box set for Tokyo Ghoul. It was really, really great. It's been so long since I watched Tokyo Ghoul, and obviously there's a ton of things that I forgot, but I know that there are things in the manga that are different from the anime, especially like certain parts of the ending. And I was sitting here and I was thinking, okay, something is really different. And when we segue into Tokyo Ghoul Re, you know, I actually am more excited to read it now. When I started the second season of Tokyo Ghoul, everybody said like, oh, it's not that great, blah, blah, blah. It definitely like threw me off, but having read the books, read the manga, now I'm like, okay, now I actually get it more. So all of that to say, I will be getting the second box set of Tokyo Ghoul. Just not now. I will have to wait, or I will ask for it for Christmas. And I'm actually really excited to read it versus like how I kind of gave up on watching it. I really am confident that I'm going to like the manga just as much as I did for the first box set versus the anime. Next, I was kind of keeping up with reading some of the volumes in the second box set of Bleach. So basically, just to let it be known, what I will be reading in the month of December is the rest of the second Bleach box set. So yeah, I read like volumes, 22 through 33, which is what I owned when I got them secondhand. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, let's just get into the books that I have with me in front of me right now. So I read Killer Kung Pao, Steaming Hot Homicide by Vivian Chen. I can't remember which book in the series this is in the Noodle Shop Mystery. This might be book 6. This was really good. I'm pretty sure I rated this 5 stars on Goodreads. This is about Lana. You know, it's business as usual. She's running the restaurant. She's dealing with all of the wacky characters of Asia Village. And once again, Ian is asking her to do something that she really doesn't want to do, because he claims that he respects the fact that she's with Adam, but you know, she's the only one that he can rely on. I feel like there's a lot of people who are reliable, but Lana is the go-to, and that's fine. While she and Ian are having a meeting, they witness a little fender bender in the parking lot between 2 older women within this, you know, community. One being a storefront owner, and another one like a woman who like comes to Asia Village. I don't think she had a store though, but they're both well known and they're both disliked. So the whole premise of this book is they get into a back and forth. Obviously Asia Village is like, okay, you know, we're gonna have to hear about this for forever. One of the women wants to sue the other one because she claims, oh, you know, I'm just in so much pain, blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, one of those women ends up dead. And Lana, per usual, is kind of asked but stumbles into trying to figure out who did it. I really didn't see the murderer coming in this one. I was really scrambling to figure out like who is the person who's guilty, and then in the end I was actually shocked because I did not expect that. I'm just so used to it not being the person. I mean, you know, with cozy mysteries, there's lots of misdirection with mystery anyway, but with this one, it kept coming back to this person, and maybe I should have assumed that it was that one. But anyway, all that to say, this was a really good one. I can't wait to continue the series, and I always recommend Vivian Chen. Next up was my book pick for the book club with my mother and sister, and it was If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. This was really good. I think I rated this 5 stars on Goodreads. If I didn't, I meant to, because, or maybe it was 4 stars. I thought this was really good. It was very quick. I read most of it and then I listened to the end because it was free on Hoopla, and I thought, oh, I want to give it a try. I love the story. It's basically about a woman named Cindy. She is coming home from New York City to California, I think, to move back in with her stepmom after like college and everything, after she's graduated. She's a fashion major. Her father had died a few years ago, but the one thing I loved about this book was that it's clearly, a play on Cinderella, but instead of having a toxic stepmother and stepsisters, I love the family dynamic in this book, and I think that's probably my favorite part of this book. Anyway, her stepmom is like the producer of a reality TV show like The Bachelor, and they're needing a few more girls, and Cindy volunteers, and so do her sisters. They have to make up a different story. But the crazy thing is, when she's traveling from New York to California, she meets this guy on a plane. They hit it off. And, I think you kind of get where this is probably going. She's going to be on a reality show. She meets this random guy. It's a romance novel. Okay, I think you know. All in all, I really liked this. I haven't read many books that have to do with a reality TV show. I think the other book that I read the other one is One to Watch. I can't remember the author's name. I liked both, but honestly, I think I might prefer this one. One to Watch is the main character. She is the one that's on the reality TV show, and all these guys are vying for her. And I didn't really like who she picked. I don't think I liked anybody that was supposed to be her suitor, and then I did not like the person who she ends up picking in the end. This one, obviously, do they say it on the back? Let me make sure. I don't think they give you the name. Do they give you the name? Okay, so they don't tell you the name of the guy, so I won't tell you the name of the guy. The guy is the one, and she is with a bunch of other women. She's the only plus size woman on the cast, and there's a bit of that, her dealing with being the biggest woman on the cast, being plus size, and yeah, I just thought it was really, really good. It's a little bit more on the modern side. She kind of likes the fairy tale aspect of it, but at the end of the day, she is very much like, I am independent. I like what I like, And all that to say, it was really good. So I enjoyed myself. I will say that I did not like the narrator for the audiobook, who did some of the accents. One of the women in here is supposed to be from Texas. Her name is Sarah Claire. I don't know why the narrator thought to give her this thick, not even thick, it was just like, it sounded like she was Paula Deen. It aged her so much. And I do feel like the narrator, when she was doing accents, she made people sound so much older than they were. Like the way she made Beck sound, I thought Beck was like in her early 20s. She made her sound like she was 40 years old. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in my mind, I'm picturing like a younger person, because I'm pretty sure Beck was young. I didn't go back and look. Not Paula Deen, with Sarah Claire. And I don't even know who you would describe as the older version. It doesn't matter. It's okay. But this was good. I definitely recommend reading it and listening to the audiobook. I'm just not a fan of like, accents that I don't like. And last for the books I physically have is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I don't know if I rated this. This is like one of those things where it's a memoir, kind of like Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I liked it. It was good, but the subject matter is dark. So it's kind of like, how do you rate that? So I guess if I did rate this, I would probably rate it a 4 star. This is about Michelle. We're kind of going from very young age to present day. Her dealing with her life growing up as mixed. Her father is white, her mother is Korean, and it was really cool to read that she spent so much time in Korea at a young age, but she still felt very separate from her Korean identity, and it's like she was close to her family, like to her aunts and stuff, but clearly there came a point when she was growing up where she kind of became kind of removed from that aspect of her life. But the things I really liked about Michelle was like, she's like a punk rocker. She is definitely different, alternative, and yeah, I definitely liked her as a person. I was about to say as a character, but like this is a memoir. As a person, I think that she would be someone I would be friends with. But the big portion of this memoir is about her having to come back home and deal with her mother getting cancer, and those last months, year of her being with her mom, having to revisit, you know, painful memories, be in the house that she grew up in, what it's like after your family member dies and you're kind of left with the other one, so her father, but the complicated relationship that she had with her mom. So it was nice to read about her good memories about her mother, always encouraging her to try foods. Like you can say no, but try it first. You know what I mean? She has good memories with her mother, but then she has the complicated relationship too. And I cried a few times reading this book in my car on my break at work. So I definitely had to fix it up very quickly. But yeah, it has its moments where it's funny. It has its moments where it's extremely sad. And then it has its moments where I'm like so frustrated, like the incident with her mother abusing her. That made me very upset, obviously. Also the friend of the mother who came and helped. That was a weird dynamic. All of that to say, I thought this was really good. It was short. It was a quick read, but it was heavy, but not in a way that left me feeling like, ugh, you know, I have to set this down for a minute. There's a lot going on. It's making me sad. But despite the fact that I obviously did cry and that I'm sad, I do think that this was a very interesting memoir. I think a lot of people should read it. And I definitely want to gift this to one of my friends in particular, because I do think that she would like this. Anyway, that is this one. All right, so for the books I don't physically have. So I asked on Twitter the beginning of November, hey, does anybody have any romance recs that don't have like too much, like don't have smut in it? And I got a few suggestions, and I also got the suggestion Sweet Hand Island Bites series by N.G. Peltier. That was really good. I read it at the very beginning of the month, so now I cannot remember what I rated it. I listened to it as an audiobook, and it was great. Love the narrator, was perfect. This is about Charisse and Kieran. So Charisse is a baker. She's pretty well known, and she got out of a relationship with a musician, and it didn't really end well. So she is a little bit more protective of her heart and her time. She doesn't want to play games, and I think that Charisse is probably also very much okay with not being with anyone. She would rather be alone and happy than in a relationship and lonely, which, you know, that's a big thing. Remember that. If you needed a message, if you needed a sign, you'd rather be alone and happy than in a relationship and lonely. That's a big thing. Then you have Kieran. He is a producer, a music producer with his father. They've known each other from being very, very young. And it's not enemies to lovers, because they were friends when they were kids, and then something happens. They kind of have a falling out, and then they kind of they butt heads a lot. So their relationship is definitely interesting. I definitely got mad a few times. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, let it go. You were kids. It's not a big deal. But I liked this. Honestly, that one was really good, because it didn't have a bad like miscommunication ending that was like, now I'm mad at you. I liked the fact that they were very mature about what ended up happening, and Charisse was like, it's not that big of a deal. It's okay. We can talk about it. But I was mad and I needed time. So I really liked that about it. So if I don't remember the rating, I either rated it 4 or 5 stars. And I will say, if the shoe fits, I liked that too. It wasn't this frustrating miscommunication trope where you're kind of like, now y'all could have just talked about that. I think it was easy to come to that conclusion. In Sweet Hand, same thing, being frustrated. Next, I listened to You Sound Like a White Girl, A Case for Rejecting Assimilation by Julissa Arce. Oh my God, that was so good. Very, very short audiobook. I got that on Audible like right when it came out, and that was one that I got recommended on Amazon. I don't think I saw that on TikTok at all, which is where I get a lot of my recommendations now. But I pre-ordered it and I was like, oh, no, nonfiction November, this is the perfect time to read it. It was fantastic. It was very, very good. I'm pretty sure I rated that 5 stars. She narrates her own audiobook and it was fantastic. She did a great job. But I read it so early in the month and now I can't remember any of the specific things I wanted to talk about. I will say this, I'm going to buy a physical copy because I want to go back and read it and annotate it because it was so good. Oh, this is something I remember. So, as I've gotten older, obviously, I think we all come to a point where you realize it is very obvious that we did not learn a lot in school that would really be impactful and important as you get older when you get into the real world. So things like systemic racism, that's kind of important to know. Racism in general. I know a lot of people like to argue that, oh no, you don't need to know about the past. I think you should know about the past because there are many instances that are very important. And I'll just leave it at that. With that being said, I did not know some of the things that she brought up about Mexican Americans like in history, like also having to do with like Brown versus the Board of Education, how Mexican people, and I'm sure it wasn't just people from Mexico, I'm sure it was, South America as well, but like probably just lumping them in all as Mexican as people do. Because many of them were, I think it was in the census, written off as like white when they were experiencing discrimination in school. So they weren't being taught English. They were being separated from everybody else who could speak English and, not given adequate education. So when they sued about that, they were like, well, how are you being discriminated against if we consider you white? Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. So there's lots of little instances in the book that I didn't know that. So it's stuff like that where if you are not a part of that community, inform yourself. I had no idea, but that's really important. So yeah, I thought that was a great book. I definitely recommend it. It was 5 stars. Fantastic. The next one I listened to was Making a Scene by Constance Wu. I rated that 3 stars. So I liked it. I did like it. I was really interested at the part where she's talking about the producer that she ended up working with on the show, Fresh Off the Boat, which I watched a few episodes. It was actually really good. That was like the big thing that a lot of people were talking about when this came out, but I did think that it was really like interesting to know a bunch of other stuff, especially the dynamic that she had with her mother, her father, and her sisters. There is a part in the book that I was like, oh, that is very interesting. But I will say, I don't know what it was about the way that she reads it. The way that she is the word inflection. It's almost like she's talking to a child. So it's like very whimsical the way she speaks, but then like sometimes I was listening to it on my walks and I was like, I feel like she is talking to me like I'm a little kid, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I mean, it's like she's reading this to children, and I don't know what it was about that, but I was like, I'm not really a fan of the way that she's reading this. But I haven't watched a lot of things that Constance was in. I did watch Crazy Rich Asians, and I thought it was fantastic. But those are the only 2 things I've seen her in. So Crazy Rich Asians, amazing. Only a few episodes of Fresh Off the Boat, like when it first came out. So I don't have a lot of experience listening to her voice like that. So I don't know if she sounds like this all the time or not. But regardless, I still think that it was a good book. So I know I said 3 stars. I would say 3 stars for the audiobook. I think if I had physically read the book, it probably would have been 4 stars, 4.5. But it was very good. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too long. I'm sure it was. So let's get into the books that I want to read in December, which, you know what, I'm not going to have too much of a strict TBR. Like, there's books that I'm already reading right now, which I'm like, okay, I'm happy with them. I know I'm going to finish them in December. I definitely want to have a little bit more freedom with reading manga. Obviously, you're going to see, or you have seen the video where I bought a lot of manga in November and I'm still receiving what I ordered. Although I did order one more thing before November was over, so that's on me, but I'm not even gonna include it in the video, okay? Because y'all don't need to see what the hell I've done to myself. But I have a ton of either full series, like complete series that I've bought, and if I want to read them, I'm gonna read them. If not, I'm not. But for the manga I definitely want to read, I know that I want to read, is I want to finish the second box set of One Piece. So I'm on volume 33 right now. I think this box set goes all the way to, I think this goes to like 48 or something. It's in the 40s. So I'm really close. I'm still only 33. So I definitely want to finish the second box of One Piece in December. I started Call of the Night and I'm liking it so far. I didn't watch the anime for this. I'm just going to read it. So far it's pretty cute, although he is 14. I'm not sure why he's 14. He definitely could be older. She's a vampire. She looks like a child, but I have a feeling that she's not. So just because you died as a child, if you are over 100 years old, you are over 100 years old. That's all I gotta say. Make him older, please. Like, he could literally be 21. That's neither here nor there. But Call of the Night, I want to read the series. I think I have all the way up to volume 8 or 9. So I'd like to finish what I have of this. I really want to start Hell's Paradise. I have the first 2 volumes, and if I like it, I'm gonna put the rest of the series on my wish list for Christmas, and you know, this is what it gives for me. In my quest to start and finish a lot of the chunky books I have, so I Am a Hero was one of them, like a larger volume, and I finished it and it was okay. I definitely want to read the first collector's edition of Fruits Basket. So I haven't really given this a good attempt of a read. I think I read like the first page and then I put it down. Just wasn't in the mood. I would really like to read this. And again, this might be another thing where like, oh, if I like it, maybe I'll ask for the rest of the collector's edition. We'll see. I mean, it's a really, really well-loved series, so I think I'll like it. Oh, and as I mentioned, I definitely want to finish the second box set of Bleach. Next up is one of the nonfiction books I said I wanted to read, but I didn't get to, but I started, and it's short, so I really feel like I should be able to wrap this up quickly, and that is Fat Girls in Black Bodies, Creating Communities of Our Own by Joy Arlene Renee Cox, PhD. Thank you very much. So far, very good. I'm really mad because I started reading it and I didn't have my little colorful tabs near me. So I need to go back and annotate this. But so far, so good. It is under 200 pages, so there really is no reason why I can't finish this really quickly. It's like 135. Come on now. And that's afterward. Really, it's only 130 pages. So definitely going to finish this. And the one that I am the most excited to read this month, because I started it and I made a pretty good, now I took the dust jacket off, but I started, I don't know if you'll be able to see, Iron Widow. Wow, so far this book is really, really good. I got this for Christmas last year, I believe, and I didn't really watch a lot of people talk about it, but I don't think I heard anything bad about it. So far, it's very, very good. I really, really like the story so far. I need to go back and follow the creator because I remember before this came out, I remember seeing a lot of the author's TikToks on TikTok because they're on TikTok. And I need to go back and I need to see if I can get a better pronunciation of the names, but very, very good. But yes, that is what I'm excited to read. There's definitely going to be some more. My mom picked a book for the book club, but I cannot remember what it's called and I didn't write it down. But I'm just going to, you know, be very fluid in the month of December. I want to have fun. I just want to, you know, be good, because even though I actually ended up reading a lot in November, it really didn't feel productive because it was the final week of November that I finished all 3 of those books. So Killer Kung Pao, If the Shoe Fits, and Crying in H Mart. So I was kind of picking it up here and there. I started a lot of them at the very beginning, and then I didn't finish all of these 3 until the very end. And then November just felt like it went by so fast. But yes, before this video gets way too long, thank you so much for watching my video. What do you think? How do you like the ratings that I did for the ones that I read? Have you read those? What were your opinions? The things that I want to read, have you read those? What do you think? If you watched my last video, is there anything that I hauled that you think that I should read first? I'm kind of eyeing a few things because like a lot of what I bought is like right in front of me. And honestly, I'm thinking that I really do want to read Spy Family. But if there's any manga series that you know that I have that you think I should read, let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching my video. If you like the video, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on other social media, and you have a good day. Goodbye.